If she really wanted you, you wouldn't be decoding every message, analyzing every silence, or questioning every shift in her tone. But here you are, waiting, wondering, hoping, while she keeps you stuck in a cycle of almost interested, almost committed, almost yours. And that emotional limbo is exactly where she wants you. Because when a woman isn't serious, she won't tell you directly. She'll keep you close enough to use, but far enough to avoid responsibility. Most men don't see it until they're already drained. But you don't need to fall any deeper into her game. In this video, I'll break down the 5 signs she's playing you for a fool, so you can stop being used and start taking back control. You never fall into this kind of situation because she's extraordinary. You fall because the way she treats you plugs into something deeper, something you've ignored for years. Most men don't realize how easily they can be pulled into a woman's emotional game until they're already stuck in it. And it usually starts with one simple vulnerability: the hunger to feel chosen. That hunger makes you overlook the small inconsistencies. It makes you dismiss the hesitation in her voice, the vagueness in her answers, the way she keeps you close enough to taste her affection, but never close enough to claim it. You tell yourself you're being patient, you're being understanding, you're giving her time. But what's really happening is much colder. She's feeding you in emotional crumbs. Just enough warmth to keep you standing at her door, hoping the next moment will be different. And that's the trap. Women understand emotional patterns far better than men. You invest in straight lines: consistency, effort, progress. She moves in cycles: attention, withdrawal, re-engagement. When those two collide, you end up interpreting her behavior through your logic instead of her strategy. She gives you a late-night compliment, a soft touch, a playful message. Your brain takes that hit of dopamine and builds an entire narrative around it. Then she disappears, and instead of questioning her intentions, you question your worth. You weren't blinded by her beauty. You were blinded by your hope. Hope is the most powerful blinder a man can wear. It makes you rewrite her excuses as compassion. It makes you accept inconsistency as complexity. It makes you protect her behavior instead of protecting yourself. You start believing she's misunderstood, overworked, emotionally wounded, anything that keeps you from facing the truth that she's simply not choosing you. And before you know it, you're trapped in a loop you can't name. You wait for her messages. You analyze her tone. You defend her absence. You explain away her mixed behavior because the alternative feels worse, admitting you're being played. But once you understand the psychology behind this dynamic, the next 5 signs become impossible to ignore. And each one reveals exactly how she pulls you deeper into a game she never intended to finish. Number 1. Emotional distance wrapped in flirtation. It always starts the same way, with warmth that feels intentional. She compliments you, lingers when she touches your arm, sends those late-night messages that make you think she's letting you into a private part of her world. She gives you enough sweetness to trigger possibility in your mind, enough softness to make you believe she's opening up. But the moment you try to deepen the connection, everything changes. She dodges vulnerability with calculated precision. When you ask a personal question, she redirects. When you share how you feel, she goes quiet. When you hint at defining what's happening between you, she suddenly becomes confused, not ready, or just seeing where things go. And if you listen carefully, you'll notice that the warmth she gives you is always emotional, surface level, nothing deep. Nothing revealing. Nothing that requires her to risk anything. This isn't an accident, it's a power structure. Flirtation becomes her currency, and your emotional investment becomes the return she collects. She knows you mistake chemistry for connection, and she uses that confusion to keep you orbiting around her. You assume the tension you feel means something meaningful is brewing. but she's giving you performance, not partnership. When a woman wants you, emotional depth comes naturally. When she doesn't, flirtation is just bait. The reason men fall for this dynamic is simple. You assume reciprocity. You assume that if she's showing interest, she must want something real. But what she actually wants is attention without accountability. Your desire boosts her confidence. Your availability pads her ego. Your consistency gives her emotional comfort with zero cost. She gets all the perks of closeness while staying completely protected behind a wall she never intends to lower. Pay attention to the signs. She avoids every conversation that might lead to clarity. She laughs off direct questions. She says she likes what you have, but refuses to define it. She enjoys intimacy, but rejects emotional presence. Everything she offers is suggestive, but never substantial. Just enough to keep you craving the moment she finally opens up. Here's how you see the truth. Stop feeding her emotional oxygen. Pull back. Not dramatically, not as punishment. Simply disconnect the emotional faucet she's been drinking from. If she wants something real, she'll meet you halfway without hesitation. She'll initiate deeper conversations. She'll show genuine curiosity about your world. She'll stop hiding behind pleasant ambiguity. But if she goes cold, fades out, or replaces flirtation with distance the moment you stop chasing, you'll finally see her intention for what it was from the beginning. Not love, not interest, not potential, but control. Number 2. She keeps other men in the conversation to keep you off balance. It sounds harmless at first. She mentions an ex who still texts sometimes, a coworker who won't stop flirting, or a male friend who gets her in ways most people don't. She drops these details casually, like she's just telling stories from her day. But if you listen with the right ears, you'll hear the intention behind every name she brings up. She's not informing you. She's positioning herself. Women don't remind a man they're interested in that other men are pursuing them. A woman who feels something real will actually do the opposite. She'll protect the connection. She'll minimize outside noise. She'll make you feel like you have her focus. When a woman keeps other men in the spotlight, she's using them as psychological leverage. Each name she drops is meant to spark one reaction inside you: insecurity. That insecurity makes you compete without realizing it. It makes you question if you're enough, if she prefers someone else, if you're losing ground. That heightened emotional tension is exactly what she wants. It elevates her perceived value and lowers your sense of certainty in the relationship. And once she creates that imbalance, she has the advantage. What makes this tactic effective is that it feels unprovable. She's not insulting you directly. She's not openly comparing you. She's just being transparent, just sharing, just talking. Meanwhile, she's testing how much you'll tolerate. Will you try harder? Will you chase more? Will you put in extra effort to stand out from the imaginary competition she keeps bringing up? Most men do. They step deeper into the trap because they want to win her attention back. But here's the truth you need to see. When a woman is genuinely interested, she removes competitive anxiety from the equation. She doesn't make you guess where you stand. She doesn't trigger your jealousy to get a reaction. She doesn't use other men as props in her emotional playbook. A woman who wants you will protect your confidence, not sabotage it. The test is simple. Stop reacting. Don't ask questions. Don't flinch. Don't give her the emotional spike she's fishing for. If she senses that her tactics aren't affecting you, she'll do one of two things: intensify the comparisons to get a stronger response, or quietly distance herself when the game stops being fun. Either outcome gives you clarity, and clarity is what exposes the intention she's been hiding. She was never trying to connect with you. She was trying to control the dynamic. Once you stop feeding the insecurity she's been cultivating, the mask slips, and you finally see that the transparency she offered was never honesty. It was manipulation disguised as casual conversation. Number 3, your effort keeps increasing while her appreciation keeps shrinking. This is the stage where most men lose themselves without realizing it. You start strong, planning thoughtful dates, showing up when she needs support, remembering the little things she mentions, giving consistency because that's how you express interest. At first, she responds just enough to make you feel like you're moving forward. But then, something subtle shifts. No matter what you do, it's never enough. You become more intentional. She becomes more distant. You get more thoughtful. She gets more critical. You invest emotionally. She invests in excuses. A woman who values you won't make you feel like you're running on a treadmill, moving constantly but getting nowhere. But a woman who's playing you will keep shifting the target 1 week. She wants you to be more spontaneous, so you adjust. The next week, she wants someone more emotionally available, so you open up. Then she tells you the timing is wrong, or she's confused, or not sure what she wants. Notice the pattern. It's a moving finish line designed to make you chase an outcome she never intended to give. The reality is harsh but simple. She doesn't want a solution. She wants the power that comes from watching you try, as long as you're working to win her over. She doesn't have to give anything back. You become the emotional safety net, dependable, comforting, reliable. She doesn't have to commit to you because your presence is guaranteed whether she shows up or not. And the more you try, the more she withholds. Not because you're lacking, but because your effort threatens the imbalance she benefits from. This dynamic chips away at your self-worth. You start believing you're not enough, when the truth is, she's not looking for enough. She's looking for control. She needs you slightly uncertain, slightly insecure, slightly off balance. That's how she keeps the upper hand. She wants the boyfriend energy without the boyfriend responsibility. Your consistency becomes her convenience. Look closely at the micro behaviors. She praises you only when she senses you're slipping away. She criticizes you when you show enthusiasm. She pulls you close when she's lonely and pushes you away when you get too real. Her appreciation is rationed. Her disappointment is unlimited. A woman who wants you doesn't operate like this. If she wanted you, your presence would be enough. If she doesn't, no effort will ever fix it. The real test is withdrawal, not addition. Pull back, not to punish her, but to stop exhausting yourself. When the chase ends, the truth surfaces. A woman who values you will meet you where you are. A woman who's using you will complain, manipulate, or disappear. And either way, you finally get your answer. Number 4, her inconsistency is not confusion. It's a calculated way to control the rhythm of your emotions. Men often misinterpret this dynamic as mixed feelings or emotional complexity. But there's nothing complex about what she's doing. She warms up just enough to pull you closer, then cools down just enough to keep you guessing. It's the emotional version of tightening and loosening a leash. Not enough pressure to make you walk away, but enough to remind you who holds the tension. She texts you non-stop for 2 days, then disappears for 3. She tells you she misses you, then avoids making plans. She flirts heavily at night, then acts distant the next morning. And every time you think you understand her, she shifts again. That shift isn't accidental. It keeps you in a state where you can't predict her next move, which makes you focus on her even more. This cycle works because your mind becomes addicted to the uncertainty. The human brain is wired to chase intermittent rewards. Unpredictable highs hit harder than consistent ones. She learned that a long time ago. Every warm message, every soft glance, every moment of attention is followed by silence or withdrawal. The contrast creates an emotional spike inside you, one you confuse with chemistry. It isn't chemistry. It's conditioning. And here's the part most men never see. She only becomes consistent when she senses you pulling away. That's when she suddenly remembers to compliment you, to initiate conversations, to bring back the version of herself that hooked you in the first place. The moment you lean in again, she goes cold. It's not moodiness, it's not stress, it's not timing, it's strategy, because inconsistency keeps her in control. You make the mistake of searching for a reason. Was she tired? Did you say something wrong? Is she overwhelmed? Did she need space? But the moment you start diagnosing her behavior, you fall deeper into the trap. She wants you analyzing her, not analyzing the pattern. If you focus on the moment, she controls the narrative. If you focus on the pattern, the truth becomes obvious. Real interest is consistent. Fake interest is chaotic. Women know exactly what they're doing when they send mixed signals. Even the confused ones understand the power of uncertainty. No woman accidentally keeps someone emotionally hooked for weeks or months. When she cares, she shows it. When she doesn't, she lets inconsistency do the dirty work. The test is clarity. Stop reacting to the warm moments and start measuring the overall rhythm. Does she match your effort? Do her actions align with her words? Does she show up consistently or only when she senses distance? When you stop chasing the highs and start evaluating the pattern, the illusion dissolves. And what felt like chemistry reveals itself for what it always was. Control disguised as confusion. Number 5. She's never available for you, but she's always available for what she needs from you. This is one of the clearest signs a woman is taking you for granted, yet it's the one men excuse the most. She tells you she's overwhelmed with work, drained from life, exhausted, busy, stressed, an endless rotation of reasons why she can't make plans right now. But somehow that same woman has the time and energy to post selfies, update stories, go out with friends, binge entire shows, and stay active everywhere except with you. She's not actually busy, she's selective. When a woman wants you, she makes room. When she doesn't, she gives you what's left. And in this case, that's almost nothing. She doesn't disappear entirely because she still wants access to your comfort and your attention. So instead of cutting you off, she maintains a thin thread of connection. Just enough for you to stay available. Not enough for you to feel valued. That's why she resurfaces only when she needs something. When she wants emotional comfort, she calls you. When she needs a favor, she texts you. When she's lonely, she shows affection. When her ego dips, she sends a miss you message out of nowhere. But the moment you try to reciprocate and ask for time, presence, or effort, she slips behind the same wall of excuses. She knows you'll accept the scraps, because you've been conditioned to think her sudden moments of warmth mean she secretly cares. They don't. They mean she wants to withdraw from your emotional bank account without making a single deposit. Look at the micro patterns. She leaves you unseen, but replies instantly to the things that benefit her. She cancels on you last minute, but never cancels the plans that excite her. She leans on you emotionally after disappearing for days, expecting you to be exactly where she left you. And the worst part? You've started normalizing it. You've convinced yourself that her inconsistent presence is still better than losing her completely. That mindset is exactly what keeps you trapped. A woman who values you doesn't treat you like an emotional convenience store, open when she needs something, closed when you ask for reciprocation. Her availability reflects her interest. Her presence reflects her intention. Her effort reflects her respect. The test is simple and revealing. Go silent. Stop volunteering your time. Stop offering emotional labor. Stop making yourself accessible on demand. When you remove the comfort she's been taking from you, her response will tell you everything. If she disappears, you were never chosen. If she suddenly reaches out, she's reacting to the loss of control, not a surge of genuine affection. The moment you stop giving, you'll know exactly who she was. Walking away from a woman who's been playing you isn't difficult because she's special. It's difficult because she activated parts of you that haven't been acknowledged in years. The addiction to her attention, the hope that she might finally choose you, the fantasy version of her that you've built in your mind. Those are the real chains. And most men stay longer than they should, because they're not fighting her. They're fighting their own attachment to the potential she represented. You hold on because you've already invested time, energy, emotion. You tell yourself you're close to something meaningful, that if you stay patient, if you adjust, if you show her a little more understanding, she'll eventually meet you halfway. That's the sunk cost fallacy disguised as loyalty. You're not staying because she's worth it. You're staying because it's painful to admit that you misread her. The only way out is to shift your mindset. You're not walking away from her. You're walking away from the version of yourself that tolerated the bare minimum. You're walking away from your own weakness, not from a woman who was never fully there. Start with emotional detachment. Stop analyzing her actions. Stop replaying her mixed signals. Stop trying to decode behavior that was designed to confuse you. Treat her distance as an answer, not a puzzle. When you detach emotionally, you stop responding to the hooks she throws out to keep you orbiting her. Then draw a real boundary through silence. Not silence as punishment, but silence as clarity. The moment you stop offering unlimited access to your time and your emotional availability, the dynamic flips. She loses her leverage. And you regain the power she's been siphoning from you. Stop giving her the validation she didn't earn. Every compliment, every reassuring message, every attempt to prove your worth was feeding her ego, not building a relationship. Cut the supply. Redirect that energy back into your own life, your health, your work, your goals, your masculine foundation. When your focus shifts inward, the emotional fog lifts. This is where everything changes. The moment you stop chasing, you stop bleeding self-respect. The moment you stop giving, you stop being used. The moment you stop trying to win her, you realize she was never the prize. You were. You don't lose the woman. You lose the illusion she sold you. And that is the moment you finally take your power back. You've seen the pattern now, the flirtation without depth, the mentions of other men meant to keep you competing, the endless effort she absorbs without appreciation, the hot and cold rhythm that keeps you chasing clarity she never intends to give, the selective availability that reveals exactly where you stand in her priorities. None of these signs happen by accident. They form a blueprint, one that belongs to a woman who treats connection like a game and your attention like a resource. When you step back and look at the full picture, the truth becomes impossible to ignore. A woman who wants something real will never leave you guessing. She won't weaponize her warmth. She won't destabilize your confidence to raise her value. She won't keep you around for comfort while offering nothing substantial in return. Men only tolerate these dynamics when they're blinded by hope, chemistry, or the fear of losing the version of her they created in their minds. But every moment, you accept inconsistency. You teach her that she can access your loyalty without giving anything back. You deserve better than emotional scraps. You deserve someone who shows up with intention, not confusion. Someone who matches your effort, not drains it. Someone who values your presence instead of exploiting your availability. And the moment you recognize even one of these signs, you owe it to yourself to stop negotiating with someone who refuses to choose you. Waiting for all five to line up is how men waste years of their lives on women who never had the capacity to love them in the first place. So take a hard look at your situation. Ask yourself the question most men avoid. Are you being loved or are you being used? Are you in a relationship or are you filling an emotional gap for someone who disappears the moment she's satisfied? Your answer is the beginning of your freedom. If this opened your eyes, Stay here with me. Subscribe so you don't fall into the same trap again. Like the video, if it hits somewhere you've been afraid to confront, share it with the men in your life who need to hear what you finally understand. And speak up in the comments. Your clarity might be the wake-up call another man needs. You're not here to be chosen. You're here to choose. And the moment you act like it, the game ends.